Alrighty, so live stream number 2 and first video for the year. So, welcome to 2026. For if you haven't seen this channel before, I'm Con, and I talk about a bunch of stuff, training and otherwise. What I wanted to come on here today to do is first, I wanted to talk a little bit about New Year's resolutions, what my thoughts on them are. There's been a bit of talk going around of different things around it, and I just wanted to make sure that I just want to clear the air with what I think. And then what I wanted to go through is a little bit of what I'm going to look at this year. So I've got a list here of some ins and outs. I've got some habit tracking that I'm going to be trying to be a little bit more on top of. So yeah, this is what it looks like. But starting off, so obviously I said New Year's resolutions. There's a lot of garbage that you see both sides. So I think that when it comes to New Year's resolutions, I think that they serve a certain kind of person, and I'll explain that a little bit more in depth. Now, one side, there's a bunch of people that talk about how New Year's Day is no different to any other day in the year, and realistically, if you want to make a change, then you can make a change whenever. And I agree with that concept. The thing is that New Year's resolutions, they're a thing for a reason. It's a widely known concept for a reason, and that is that right now it is a time of year where most people, like thanks to all the retail and hospitality workers that are as busy as ever right now, but most people have a little bit of downtime. There's not most things are on pause, or at least slowing down. So because you have a bit of downtime, you also get a bit of time for reflection, and that reflection you don't generally, unless you schedule it in and you're really on top of actually trying to reflect, which little hot tip, I'm going to be talking about that a little bit later. But without scheduling and reflection, generally it doesn't happen. So the last time that you might have done it and the last time that you might have thought about where you want to be going and what you've done in the past might have been a year ago. So it can be really useful just because you're naturally in that time of reflection. You're probably already thinking about things. And then on top of that, it is a really good, almost like reset point to go into the new year with something, with things going a little bit better, doing things more in line with your values and how you want to present in the world. So I think that there's a lot of benefit in them because they give people a chance to, one, do that reset, but also do it at a time they don't have to think about as much. I know for me right now, work has slowed down a little bit and it's letting me focus on some things that kind of I've neglected for a little while. And that's a really big benefit because if I can get a hold of those habits or the different things that I want to be doing right now before I go back to work and we're full on, and before I go back to reffing and all that kind of stuff, then it gives me the opportunity to ingrain those habits and make them things that I might continue when I get back. And there's still a lot of focus that needs to happen with that. And that's why there is such a big trope of New Year's resolutions finishing by February 1st. But if you are actually intentional about that and you understand why you're doing things and how you want to integrate them when you do get back, then I think that it's not only more than possible, I think that it's a really beneficial thing. And I know multiple people who have made really, really big life changes out of New Year's. So I think that that's why you can't really throw them off. On the other side, I do agree with the idea of you can make change whenever you want. And whether it's December 28th or whether it's January 1st or whether it's, I don't know, March 38th, which doesn't exist. Whoops. No matter what date it is in the year, I think that you're able to make really, really big, meaningful change as long as you understand what you're doing and you give yourself that time for reflection and all that kind of stuff. So don't wait for a specific day to do things. But if today and the next week, or maybe even the next couple of weeks, depending on when you go back to work and all that kind of stuff, if you see the value in doing a bit of extra reflection and setting a couple goals or setting a couple habits or setting a couple systems up so that you can start doing things, then I think that's beneficial and I think that's something that you should do. Now, where do I kind of stand and how am I doing things for this year at least? I've done the New Year's resolutions. I've completely ignored them entirely and just kept on doing things in the past. This year, I've got a little bit of a change in terms of my work. So I'm changing workplace over the new year, which naturally has given me a lot of reflection over the last couple of months because I've been working between both jobs, and this whole process has been a point where I can kind of look at how my life was looking, how it's going to be looking into this next little chapter, um, and which direction I kind of want to go. And the direction obviously isn't always 100% clear. You always want to be moving just in a direction, but you don't necessarily know where the end outcome is. Um, but I think that because I've had a decent amount of reflection now, and my lifestyle is going to change a little bit with this new job. A really big thing for me is I want to set some ideas or some things that I want to, some values almost that I want to live by, and I'm putting little actionable steps in there to do it. So I'll talk about my ins and outs. I'll go through. So I've got a list here, and I'll show you my habit tracker once I go through my things that I'm going to try and be focusing on this year. But the first one, it's a very personal thing. It's very like, I'm not going to talk about it very much, but the first one is physical media. So obviously we're moving in a direction where everyone's super chronically online, me included. I spend probably too much time scrolling and watching YouTube videos and all that kind of stuff. So, and then on top of that, the other side of it is that I think that a lot of people are saying you can look at a lot of YouTube videos. I've done my fair share of rabbit holes where a lot of people are saying that renting and like seeing watching all these like services change and adapt, and the amount of services that are now existing. I think that a lot of people are saying that the new model doesn't necessarily work for everyone. And additionally, you don't own anything. Like if I want to watch something, it could just disappear off of the internet at any time. I think gone are the days where the internet being permanent actually was a true thing. Things are disappearing from the internet, and they're disappearing fast. So you don't even necessarily know what something's going to look like in 10, 20 years. So when it comes to physical media, I'm going to have a little bit more of a focus on, I mean, I've never really paid for many streaming services. I'm not very big on that, but I'm going to try and be a little bit more intentional with my digital time this year. And if I'm watching something or if I'm listening to something and I really see the value in what that thing that has been created has done for the world, or the person who created it, if it's like an artist or a movie director or something like that, I want to put more of an emphasis on supporting physical media. So that means for me a lot of salvos and op shopping kind of stuff, because of one of my later ones. Actually, you know what? I might dive into that one now. But yeah, I want to just delve into physical media a bit more. I'm definitely not going to sign up to any subscription services this year. So the only subscription service that I use is one called Dropout, which supports people who do improv comedy. I'm probably going to put it on pause for a little bit. But yeah, I want to down my doom scrolling time, and I want to up the amount of time that I watch actually good stuff. And part of that is having physical media where I can put a record on, or I can put a DVD in, and I don't have the distraction of just clicking over to the next video or whatever it is. So that's a little bit of intentionality. It kind of feeds into a couple of things. One of those things that it feeds into is I don't really want to buy new stuff this year. So the only reason that I want to buy something new is if it actually serves a really intentional purpose, and I don't have the option of buying it secondhand. So essentially I want to exhaust my options in terms of, I've been maybe to, like, depending on the item, I've been to like op shops and that kind of stuff, and I've been on Facebook Marketplace or eBay, I guess, first before I've decided to go in and buy something new. I'm not being super hardcore with this. I know that people go like no buy years and all that kind of stuff. I don't really have an issue with like buying too much. I'm not naturally a saver rather than a spender. And I don't have any issues with buying something new if it is going to provide me value and it is worthwhile buying new, and there's purpose behind that. If I might need to buy a new laptop this year, it's on the cards. If I buy a new laptop, I'm probably not going to buy a secondhand laptop. But where there are other options available, I want to reuse things that have been used by somebody else, loved by somebody else, and take them and stop them from going into landfill, and potentially also save some money while it's on the way. So yeah, so that's another thing. I'm going to avoid buying things new this year. If I have the option, I'm going to buy things secondhand. My next in is journaling every single day. So that time of reflection thing that I was talking about earlier, that this kind of relates to that, where I've been using journals for a lot of years. I've got on the bottom of that shelf right there. I've got a bunch of books that I've had over the years. I've never done it consistently. I've never had like a daily check-in or something like that. And I think that the big barrier for me with that was how like variable my schedule was day to day. And my schedule's still going to be variable. It's not going to be the same every single day, but I am going to have bigger gaps to kind of decide what I want to do. And even if it's just 5 minutes of writing something down, I just essentially want to put pen to paper every single day, because I think that there's a lot of value in that. And there's a lot of value in just like reflecting and thinking a little bit about what you're doing. Another thing that I've got here is having time where I actually have nothing. I recognized earlier this year that pretty much all the time, if I'm not working or interacting with people or like actively doing something where I am taking where I need to be interacting and like taking in information or thinking, when I'm not doing that, I was essentially always watching or listening to a YouTube video, a podcast, listening to music, all that kind of stuff. I never had silence in my life. Like I was playing music while I was in the shower. I would fall asleep with a YouTube video on. So I never had any silent time. And recently I've been embracing that a little bit more, going out and just walking without anything in my ears, maybe like just going to the beach and having some silence. I'm really lucky that I live close to the beach. I want to take advantage of it. So I'm not like making this like a super schedule one, but I want to intentionally put in more times in my week where I have nothing. I think one strategy that I'm going to use once I get back to work is actually putting like a block in my calendar, maybe like an hour or 2 hours. And I don't care where it goes in the week, but I'm not allowed to delete that block. Essentially, I need to move it somewhere. So that's another thing that I'm going to try this year. Next up, I've only got one more. So last one is around like weight management and fast food. So towards the back end of last year, I gained a little bit of weight. I want to lose some again going back into next season because I just need to before Big V. I'm probably a little bit too heavy to be reffing as consistently as I want to, and training and all that kind of stuff as consistently as I want to. And a big factor that I think led to me gaining a bit more weight on the back end of this year was having an increased fast food intake. I was working a lot, so a lot of the time it was just easier to stop off at like a McDonald's or a Hungry Jack's or something on my way home, rather than getting home and then making something or whatever it is. And I think that I just fell into being a little bit too comfortable with that, and it meant that I was eating a lot of fast food. So this year, I'm following a couple of rules. Let me find them. So I'm following a couple of rules with fast food that I'm happy to refine as I go along. But I want to have them in place so that at least there's some directionality, and I need to think about it before I just go into the drive-through. So what my plan is that obviously I need to make sure that I'm cooking a little bit more often. I'm going to schedule in that time. I always have a couple of those like ready freezer meals that you buy in the fridge. I'm going to make sure that I make use of those, and those are priority over going for fast food, both for a cost reason, and then also generally they are a bit healthier than whatever you end up buying, depending on which fast food joint you go to. And I'm also going to start scheduling when I get my groceries and being a bit more on top of the list, because it's been very laissez-faire for a while. Laissez-faire, not blase. And then my criteria for eating out. So if I do decide to eat out, which is fine, if I do decide to eat out, I, number one, need to prioritize supporting a small business. So rather than going to a McDonald's or a Hungry Jack's, I want to first aim to go to like a local fish and chip shop or a local kebab shop or whatever it is. a local sandwich joint rather than a really big chain because I want to support local businesses. Number two, if I'm buying food, it should either be with friends or it should be saving time. Yeah. If I'm going to eat just like randomly at home or like during my workday or whatever it is, I want to make sure that it's something that I've prepared or something that's a little bit cheaper. But if I'm going to go out and I am going to spend the money, then I should be saving time between work or something like that. Or I've got a lot of stuff to do that day, so I don't have time to actually make something and I've run out of other food. Or I should be with friends. I should be enjoying it, having fun, sharing things with other people. And then my last little asterisk here, I'm thinking that I might allow myself to have Guzman if it is saving time or if it's on a drive back from like a reffing game or something like that, because getting that nutrition in is hard, especially when it's pretty late at night. And I think that Guzman is the best of all evils when it comes to those. It's a little bit healthier. I'm able to like direct what I'm having a little bit more. So I think I might give myself that little out. We'll see how we go. I'm not 100% set on this. I think that I kind of need to feel out how things go with this new job in terms of organizing my days and all that. All right, so those are my like intentions or my ideas for this year and what I want to do. Now what I'm gonna go through is essentially my new like kind of habit tracker. I stole this off of Dom. He is a real one. I might try and link his YouTube channel in the description after I come off of this live. But essentially, there's a few things here just to track. The intention with this is to track every single day and to just keep all of these things front of mind while also having like a positive side to things so that I'm constantly looking at what I'm actually getting done and what is being done well to build up that, I don't know, mindset or whatever it is. So first on this big side is every single day I want to put in a positive moment. So I want to put in something that I did and I think fed me towards the person that I want to be. So whether that is just like getting some work done at a decent level, whether it's catching up with somebody, whether it's just getting through the day, whatever it is, I want to essentially start taking note to all of those good things that are happening. And if I keep on stacking those wins, I know the good stuff happens. On the other side, so first up, I've got weight. So I'm going to be tracking my weight every single day. That goes with the whole fat loss goal. So when you bring something front of mind, you're more likely to do the habits that lead to that thing happening well. So that's first thing I'm going to be tracking every single morning. Really big thing with tracking your weight if you have not done it before or you have not liked it in the past. Number one, just remember it's just a number. It doesn't have any assigned value. For me, it's not like I'm not thinking about my weight every single moment. What it does for me is it gives me a piece of data, and then it also lets me keep it front of mind because if I don't track my weight, if I only track my weight once a week, then it kind of falls out. The tip for people who haven't really tracked their weight before is do it at the same time every single day, preferably if you can before you've eaten anything. So throughout the day, obviously you eat, your weight goes up and down, you drink water, all that kind of stuff. It can affect where your weight is at. If you want those data points to mean more, it makes a lot of sense just to do it in the morning before you've eaten anything. So that it's as accurate as possible, as well as just making it easy so that you don't forget. Then I've got my habit tracking portion. So I've got journaling. So every single day I want to have something go to pen to paper. So I'm going to be tracking that. The habit tracker I think is going to help with that. The fact that I need to open the habit tracker every day. Exercise. I'm not like a person who says that you need to exercise every single day. I do exercise most days though. So making sure that I string days together and I don't really miss 2 in a row is really important for me. The other thing is as well though, is going into this new job, I've got a lot less like natural, just like incidental activity throughout my day. So even if exercise means I'm going out for a 30-minute walk, I'm still going to tick that off because that is movement and I don't want to have days without movement, which now are going to be a bit easier to go with. A video. So one big thing that I'm doing, and you've probably noticed if you're following along here, is I'm wanting to post a video every single day. So that the YouTube won't stay every single day, the Instagram will. But essentially, I'm going to be ticking off if I've posted some sort of a video every single day. And then I've got my hour of quiet time in there. So hour of just time to like chill or whatever. Again, that goes back to those things that I want to intentionally do this year. I'm going to have that ticked off. Again, it's not something I need to do every single day, but it is something that I want to be ticking off to see how often I am doing it. And then read. I want to read more often this year. I tried to read a little bit more. I actually made a long way. I started reading fiction books, which is crazy for me. I've normally only been a non-fiction guy. But I want to be intentional. And again, this is a thing of just see how many days I string together down the line. I've got 2 in red. So the 2 in red, phone in room. So I'm going to start sleeping without my phone next to me in the bed. That is to go along with the doom scrolling thing. And then fast food. So the days that I have fast food. Again, I can tick off a fast food one, but I just need to have those reasons in place. And this lets me see how many times I'm doing it over the month. Hopefully it's less rather than more. And then the last 2 things on this are my phone screen time and my sleep. So I'm going to be writing down my phone screen time every single day. I'm going to be writing how many hours I sleep just to keep me accountable. Just like the weight thing, it keeps it front of mind. By keeping things front of mind, then you are more likely to do them at the standard that you want them. So that is me. What I now recommend to you to try and do. If you are looking at this video and you're like, I don't even know what I want to do with this, and it's New Year's time, and I actually do want to set some resolutions or some sort of intentions. Go through, reflect a little bit, think about the person that you want to get to be, and think about the things that you would expect somebody like that to be doing. Yeah. If you want to be a pro athlete, what would a pro athlete be doing? And it's just like that with every single little thing. If you want to be someone who owns a house when they reach X age, what would that person be doing? They would probably not be buying a bunch of new stuff. They would probably be picking up extra shifts, whatever it is. You just need to identify where you want to go, the kind of direction that you want to be in, and think about what actions get to be there. And most of the time we have the answers. Most of the time you don't need more research. Most of the time you have a pretty good idea of roughly the things that need to happen. And then you can research once you get started on the more finer details. I recommend something like this habit tracker. You don't need to do it exactly like this. Like I said, I really like this one. I'll link Dom's channel because I stole this format off of him down below. But having something that brings it front of mind every single day is really good. Whenever people are talking about doing some sort of fat loss, I always recommend to, as long as they're mentally okay with it. Some people struggle a little bit mentally when they track every single day, but I recommend checking your scale weight every single day. It brings it front of mind and you make decisions around it. Whatever you want to do, having some sort of system in place that makes it happen more often is really, really important. Yeah, and then just have check-in points with yourself. Like, don't let it just sit there and be something that you think about once or twice a month for the rest of the year. If you want to set something to improve over time, then just give yourself more points where you think about it, whether that's weekly, whether that's daily, whatever it is, so that you can reassess, number one, whether you even want to still be doing that thing, but 2, also whether you're doing the things to move yourself forward. Sweet. That's the video. If you've got any questions about this stuff, let me know. Comment on the VOD. Otherwise, I'll see you in the next video. I'll see you on the next live. See ya. Have a good 2026.